Along the Texas Gulf Coast lies 115,000 acres of marsh, prairie, and bay supported by hundreds of bird species and serves as winter refuge for one of North America's rarest birds. This is the Aransas National Wildlife Refuge. What's up, YouTube? It's Matt with the Matt Out Here YouTube channel. Today I'm here at the Aransas National Wildlife Refuge, and I'm exploring this 115,000 acre wildlife refuge, which is just right outside of Rockport. This place is beautiful. There's over 400 species of birds that visit here every year, and this place is home to the whooping crane. So come along with me, let's explore, and I hope you'll enjoy this one. All right, y'all, let's go. The Aransas National Wildlife Refuge was established in 1937 to protect one of the most important coastal ecosystems on the Texas Gulf Coast. Covering more than 115,000 acres, the refuge preserves a connected landscape of coastal prairie, oak woodlands, tidal marshes, and shallow bays. The purpose of Aransas is simple but critical: to protect habitat at scale. Large, intact ecosystems like this allow wildlife to thrive naturally, supporting both resident species and migratory animals that depend on the coast throughout the year. The refuge is best known as the primary winter home of the endangered whooping crane. Each year, the last wild flock migrates here from northern Canada, relying on these marshes and bays for food, space, and protection during the winter months. Beyond cranes, Aransas supports more than 400 species of birds, along with mammals, reptiles, and marine life. These wetlands also serve as nurseries for fish and invertebrates, making them vital not only for wildlife but for the health of the broader coastal ecosystem. Aransas National Wildlife Refuge is managed by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, which balances public access with conservation. Visitors can explore designated areas, learn through interpretive displays, and experience the refuge while sensitive habitats remain protected. Places like this exist because long-term conservation decisions were made to safeguard land before it was lost. Aransas stands today as a reminder of why protecting entire ecosystems matters, not just for wildlife, but for future generations. Here we were able to observe pollinators in action, including paper wasp and bees visiting lantana and other native plants. These insects play a critical role in supporting plant life across the refuge and help sustain the broader food web. Along the coastline, the refuge provides public access for shoreline fishing and a well-maintained fishing pier overlooking the bays. Anglers here commonly target species like redfish, speckled trout, and flounder, all supported by these productive coastal waters. Just inland, the landscape shows clear signs of exposure to storms, wind, and salt air. Many of the trees here develop low-shaped canopies with wind-pruned tops that reflect years of weather along the coast. And nearby, designated picnic areas offer a quiet place to stop, rest, and take in views of the marsh and shoreline. After spending time at the fishing pier, we continued driving to the end of the road, where the sky viewing area sits elevated above the surrounding marsh. From this vantage point, some of the best views in the refuge open up in every direction. Looking out from above, you can see broad stretches of tidal marsh, shallow bays, and winding waterways shaped by daily tides and seasonal weather. These wetlands connect inland freshwater systems to the Gulf of Mexico, forming an estuary where nutrients concentrate and support an enormous amount of life. The landscape here may look calm, but it's constantly in motion, rising and falling with the tides. As we walk up the ramps, it's worth remembering that this refuge supports a wide range of wildlife. White-tailed deer move through the prairie and oak woodlands, javelinas travel in small groups along brush lines, and American alligators occupy freshwater ponds and slow-moving channels. Even when animals aren't visible, their presence is part of what shapes the ecosystem. Aransas is best known as the primary winter home of the endangered whooping crane. Each year, the last wild flock migrates nearly 2,500 miles from Canada to these coastal marshes. Standing nearly 5 feet tall with a wingspan over 7 feet, whooping cranes rely on blue crabs and other marsh resources found here to survive the winter. Beyond cranes, the refuge hosts more than 400 bird species, including roseate spoonbills, reddish egrets, northern harriers, and numerous shorebirds that depend on shallow coastal waters. This location along the Central Flyway makes Aransas one of the most important bird habitats in North America. The refuge itself was established in 1937 during a period when the country was emerging from the Great Depression. Its creation was driven by a growing concern over habitat loss and declining wildlife populations. Conservation leaders and the federal government recognized the need to protect large coastal landscapes before development made that possible. The waters you see stretching toward the horizon are part of the Greater Gulf of Mexico, a body of water that has shaped trade, culture, and ecology along the southern United States for centuries. The Gulf supports commercial fisheries, buffers storms, and sustains coastal communities, making the health of these marshes critically important, far beyond the refuge itself. From this overlook, it's easy to see why Aransas was preserved. Large, connected ecosystems like this allow nature to function as intended, resilient, productive, and constantly adapting. From up here, the absence of development is just as important as what you can see. Large portions of the refuge remain inaccessible by foot or road, helping reduce disturbance and preserve natural behavior and wildlife. So the observation tower here sits at the end of the road. So once you come in at the entrance of the park, you would drive all the way down to the end of the road, and this observation tower would be here waiting for you. And it offers some of the best and most scenic views of the National Refuge here, as well as just looking out at the coastline and the water in the Gulf of Mexico. And here we can see a couple birds off in the distance using the rising warm air to hunt. If you come out to this National Refuge, but really anywhere along the coast, and especially close to Rockport, Port Aransas area, and if you're not from here, then just be warned, there is an abundant population of mosquitoes. Marshes and estuaries form the foundation of life here, supporting everything from fish to birds. That productivity is what sustains species like the whooping crane during winter, while native plants such as yapon holly provide critical seasonal food for wildlife. This park offers a lot of neat marshland, kind of leading up to the coastline, right? But in my research, before I came out here, I saw lots of pictures and videos of alligators, so who knows, maybe we get lucky and we see one. American alligators inhabit freshwater wetlands throughout the refuge, often occupying ponds, marsh edges, and slow-moving channels. And while we didn't see one during this visit, they are very much a part of this ecosystem. These alligators play an important role as apex predators, helping maintain balance by regulating prey populations. Getting to film trips like this honestly has been just a blast. It's really just me doing what I'd already be out here doing anyway, walking around, checking things out, and enjoying the scenery. Now with a camera, so I can bring y'all along with me. If you're having fun watching these videos and enjoying these adventures, I really appreciate you being here. And go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this. There's a lot more coming up down the road, and we're not done yet. As we keep moving through the refuge, things stay interesting. We ended up running into a few cool little critters along the way, including getting pretty close to some wildlife you don't always expect to see up close. So stick around, there's still a little bit more to come. Out here along the Texas coastline, the water is constantly at work. Wind and tide apply steady pressure against the land, slowly reshaping the shoreline over time. That movement feeds the surrounding marsh system and supports the life that depends on it. What you're looking at is the result of long-term interaction between land and water. So while I'm down here at the coast, I'm going to be hitting 3 spots. One is this Aransas National Wildlife Refuge, but I'm also going to be doing a video on Goose Island and Mustang Island, which are both state parks. So I'm going to go explore those. They have different things to offer, but I've never been out to this Aransas National Wildlife Refuge before. So if you're looking for a quiet, just getaway, escape, an opportunity to reconnect with nature, maybe do a little birding, maybe do a little fishing, this is the spot for you. There's not a lot of people out here, and there's a lot to see and a lot to do. So I encourage you to get out here and explore it and see it for yourself. One of the most important things to understand about a place like Aransas is that it changes constantly. Seasonality shapes everything here, from water levels and vegetation to wildlife behavior. Some days feel busy and full of movement, while others feel quiet and still. And that quiet doesn't mean the refuge is empty. It usually means nature is operating on its own schedule. Timing plays a big role in how this place is experienced. Mornings and evenings bring cooler air, more animal movement, and softer light. Midday can feel kind of slow, especially in the warmer months when wildlife conserves energy and activity drops. Learning to adjust expectations is part of visiting a refuge like this. Protecting land like Aransas has become more important over time, and along much of the Texas coast, development has replaced habitat. Roads, homes, and industry can fragment ecosystems and limit how wildlife moves across the landscape. Aransas remains different because large sections were protected early, before those pressures took hold. That protection allows entire systems to function together. Marsh connects to bay, bay connects to prairie, and woodlands link it all. Instead of isolated pockets of habitat, this refuge preserves continuity, something increasingly rare along the coast. While we were on the Big Tree Trail, we turned a corner, and right there on the path in front of us were two javelinas, and it was a pretty cool moment. And at the same time, though, I was getting absolutely swarmed by the most intense mosquitoes I've ever dealt with, which made it hard to focus on anything else. But seeing those javelinas made it completely worth it. And as we kept moving, I started noticing big clusters of purple, vibrant American beauty berries along the trail. I was moving a lot faster than it probably looks in the video because I was trying to escape the mosquitoes, and I'm pretty sure in the chaos of it all, I actually missed the big tree itself, which was supposed to be the highlight of the trail to begin with. The Big Tree Trail is a short loop designed to highlight the coastal woodland area here and lead visitors to one of the most impressive live oaks on the Texas coast. The tree itself is estimated to be hundreds of years old, with a massive trunk and a sprawling canopy shaped by decades of wind and storms. Along the way, the trail passes through dense vegetation and shaded areas that give you a sense of what this landscape looked like long before it was protected. Unfortunately, while I was focused on surviving the mosquito onslaught, I probably sped right past what makes this trail special. The Big Tree is the kind of place you're supposed to stop, slow down, and really take in. Something that trail definitely earned, even if I missed the moment this time around. And while I was sprinting from mosquitoes, I stopped for 1 second to film these mesquite pods and didn't even notice this lizard sitting here. I only saw him later at home. From his point of view, some guy probably charged at him with a camera and then immediately panicked and ran away. As the trail winds to an end, it's clear how dense and alive this coastal woodland is. Even on a short path, there's a lot going on. Plants, wildlife, and small details you can only catch if you slow down. The Big Tree Trail may be short, but it packs in a lot, more than you expect. So I just finished the Big Tree Trail, and my God, there was like hundreds of mosquitoes just swarming me the whole entire time. I ended up running and sprinting through the trail just to get away from them. So yeah, lots of mosquitoes, something to definitely watch out for out here. As we wrap things up out here, this really felt like one of those places that rewards taking your time. Aransas isn't about rushing from spot to spot. It's kind of about slowing down, paying attention, and letting things unfold as you move through it. If you're planning a visit, a few things are worth knowing. Bring plenty of water. Expect bugs, depending on the time of year, especially around wetlands and wooded areas. And give yourself extra time. Also, watch out for those swamp puppies, aka alligators, because they're out there. Early mornings and later afternoons are usually best for both wildlife activity and for staying more comfortable in the heat. And while there are designated trails and viewing areas, much of the refuge is intentionally left undeveloped, so patience goes a long way. Before we called it a day, we stopped at the Heron Flats Trail, which offers a very different experience compared to the wooded areas of the refuge. Out here, the landscape opens up into broad coastal flats and shallow marsh, giving you long sightlines across the water and grass. This is a great spot for birding, especially for wading birds that feed in the shallows. Because the terrain is more open, you can really see how tidal movement shapes the area. Water levels change with the tides, and that fluctuation helps concentrate fish and invertebrates, which is exactly what draws birds like herons and egrets here. It's one of those places where standing still for a few minutes can just be as rewarding as walking the trail. And right before we headed out of the refuge, I ran into a small group of javelinas that had been moving through the brush near where I'd been walking. I was able to get closer than I expected and get some pretty cool footage. After wrapping things up at the refuge, we made our way back toward Rockport and stopped to grab some seafood at a solid local spot. Honestly, it was the perfect way to end the day. Good food, a chance to slow down, and a moment to reset after a full day of exploring. That's one of the things I really like about trips like this. You get to experience outdoors, you see some incredible places, and then you finish it off with something simple and local before heading home. Thanks for coming along with me on this one. I'll see y'all on the next adventure, and take care.